Immigrants who want to come to the U.S. aren't people, they're animals. That's what President Trump said today.
Critics claims that he just brought his verbal attacks and war on immigrants to an all-new low.
KCAL 9 political reporter Bryan joins us now with a look at the president's remarks at a White House meeting about California's sanctuary laws. Dave?
That's right, and most of the people attending the meeting were from California, local and county officials from California. In fact, 16 California elected officials and some law enforcement officials who attended the White House meeting want to overturn the sanctuary state law on the grounds that it violates the U.S. Constitution. And in that sense, the White House meeting was also sort of a political pep rally to keep putting up the good fight back home in California.
We cannot let this butchery happen in America. The state of California's attempts to nullify federal law have sparked a rebellion by patriotic citizens who want their families protected and their borders secured.
President Trump at the White House Wednesday thanked and congratulated 16 Republican local and county leaders from Orange County and the Inland Empire, who he says are leading the revolt against California's sanctuary state law, a law he says that protects violent criminals.
These aren't people. These are animals. Each of you has bravely resisted California's deadly and unconstitutional sanctuary state laws. A law that forces the release of illegal immigrant criminals, drug dealers, gang members, and violent predators into your communities.
The new law, the California Values Act, does prohibit local law agencies from holding many immigrants in jail who could be deported for federal immigration agents. But the law does allow illegal immigrant inmates who have been charged with violent crimes to be handed over to federal immigration agencies. Hundreds of violent crimes are included in that category. But the local officials who attended the White House meeting were cheering the president and blasting state officials like the governor of California.
When Jerry Brown cares more about illegal criminals than he cares about the Hispanic community and the American citizen, this is insanity.
A San Juan Capistrano City Councilwoman told the president about public testimony that terrorists coming across the border illegally were targeting the San Onofre nuclear power plant.
They, back in 2001, were testifying before Congress that the terrorists were saying target the power plants. So the fact that we have this unsecured border is putting us at great risk because we know that terrorists are coming in.
The sanctuary state law was written by California State Senate President Pro Tem Kevin De Leon, now a candidate for the U.S. Senate.
I have a clear message to the president as well as the Attorney General. This measure is constitutional. This measure will hold up in a court of law.
In an interview today, De Leon told me the lies and distortions about the law by the president and the local California officials who support an effort to declare it unconstitutional are inaccurate and inflammatory.
For those politicians, all Republican, who attended this meeting in the White House, I feel like they have betrayed our values. They have betrayed their home state. They have betrayed their own constituents, the voters that they represent, because they're clearly siding with Donald Trump and the Attorney General in their lawsuit against their own home state.
But Orange County Supervisor Michelle Steele told me in a satellite interview Wednesday from Washington, where she attended the meeting with the president, that he and his California allies are not engaging in immigrant bashing. They're merely trying to protect American citizens from immigrant criminals.
I don't want to jeopardize any public safety in Orange County, and I don't want these criminals walking on the street. And you know what? My first priority is public safety, and we're going to protect our residents.
Now, at that same meeting today, President Trump also went after the mayor of Oakland, California, urging Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who attended that meeting, to look into bringing obstruction of justice charges against Mayor Libby Schaaf, accusing her of impeding a federal crackdown in her city by putting out the word about where the ICE agents would be raiding a day before it was planned to take place. Jeff, Suzanne, back to you.